Good afternoon, everyone. My first case is His Highness Mahrajadhiraja Jiwaji Scindia versus Union of India. Starting with the background of the case, this took place during the time of the independence. At the time of the independence, over 48% of the area and 28% of the population were made up of princely states. Consequently, at the time of independence, around 565 princely states were present in India. So after the division of India and Pakistan, the princely states were given the choice of either to join India or to merge with Pakistan or to remain independent. Soon after this announcement, VP Menon and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel started their integration efforts because they knew that if any princely state, if any important princely state talks about joining Pakistan, the dream of independent and sovereign India wouldn't be completed. Going by this dream, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel put forward the idea that if the princely states join the dominion of the India, the rulers will be guaranteed a privy purse. This privy purse would be basically a revenue from the Indian government to the princely states, and it would be 1/4 of the revenue which the princely states used to receive under the British rule. Also, they would be given the succession according to the law and custom to the gaddi, and they would also be given their personal rights, privileges, dignities, and all the titles. This was the deal which Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel put forward in front of the princely states. Later, all the princely states integrated with the Union of India, abandoning all authority in regard to their territories. Following this, obviously special provisions were enacted in Constitution regarding privy purses and the rights and privileges of erstwhile rulers. Under Article 291, the sum which was guaranteed by the Dominion of India to any ruler that was to be charged and paid out of the Consolidated Fund of India, and the sums so paid were to be exempt from all taxes on income. Following this, provisions were made in various statutes conferring the ruler certain privileges and benefits. By Article 366, Clause 22, a ruler was defined to mean the prince, chief, or other person by whom covenant and agreements were entered into, and who for the time being was recognized by the president as the ruler, and included any person who for the time being was recognized by the president as the successor of such ruler. Naturally, most congressmen were opposed to the idea of payment of privy purses to the princely states, but Sardar Patel made a stirring speech in Constituent Assembly on October 12, 1949, saying that whatever the amount it is small if it means keeping India integrated, and thus this step was necessary to keep the sovereignty of India strong. He told them that the cash assets received by the rulers of Madhya Bharat alone were sufficient to cover the payment of privy purses to all princes. Therefore, to deny them their due would be a complete breach of faith. Following this, the congressmen agreed, and the provision of privy purses was introduced. The problem started in 1967 with the formation of Swatantra Party by C. Rajagopalachari. Many rulers and many princes started joining Swatantra Party and left Congress, naturally infuriating Indira Gandhi. Trying to get revenge on on September 5, 1970, Indira Gandhi brought a law in Parliament to abolish the privy purses. It was passed in the Lok Sabha with majority, but was defeated in Rajya Sabha by one vote. A few hours later, President V.V. Giri, purporting to exercise power under Clause 22 of Article 366 of Constitution, he signed an instrument withdrawing recognition of all rulers, thus reneging on the constitutional promise that honored the commitment of Sardar Patel to all princes. This whole process was done in such unwanted hush that it created suspicions. Following this, this issue was moved to court by all the princely states under Article 32 of the Constitution by the petitioner, challenging the order of President of derecognizing them as unconstitutional, ultra vires and void. The petitioners contended that President had no power to withdraw recognition of a ruler once recognized. Also, that assuming the President had such power, to exercise the power was coupled with his duty to recognize the successor. Also, that the order of the President derecognizing all the rulers en masse amounted to arbitrary exercise of power for a collateral purpose. The petitioner also challenged that the order violated the constitutional mandates in Article 291 and Article 362. They also argued that Article 291 created an obligation on Indian Union to pay privy purse, and privy purse was a property of them. Also, the order being one without authority of law infringed the guarantee of fundamental rights under Article 19 subclause 1F, 21 and 31 of Constitution. These were the arguments provided by the petitioners, including all the princely states. Answering to this, the contention of government was that the Article 291 did not impose any kind of obligation on the Union of India to pay the privy purses. Article 291 and 362 of the Constitution did not invest the petitioner and the other rulers with any such enforceable rights. Also, the reason which was given to take privy purses back by the government was that they were looking forward to create a socialist and welfarist state, and the government of India can't afford every year to pay so much amount from the government treasury to these princely states. This would clearly become a hurdle in their dream to make India a socialist economy. Now, the question of law before court was that the first question lied upon the validity of the action of the President, and the second was that whether the government of India acted in exercise of its sovereignty, and whether this under Article 363 puts a bar on the court from interfering to provide relief of any kind. The court held that there can be no paramountcy against a citizen of the India, and the rulers today are not potentates as they were. They are citizens of India like other citizens, albeit with some privileges and privy purses which other citizens do not get. That is an accident of history, and with the concurrency of the Indian people in their constituent assembly. The power has been exercised against them must therefore be justified by the Constitution and laws, and not by invoking a nebulous doctrine of paramountcy. talking about the supremacy of the court, the Honorable Court finally said that we further hold that the president is not invested with any political power transcending the constitution, which he may exercise to the prejudice of the citizens. The power of the president arises from and is defined by the constitution. Also commenting on the act of the president, the court said that the president had acted ultra vires to the constitution when, in the instant case, the parliament refused to amend the constitution. The president's power did not extend that far by executive action. Thus, the attempt to remove Article 291, 362 and 366 Clause 22 from the Constitution without a hearing to the rulers was in breach of the accepted principles of natural justice. Indira Gandhi took this took this judgment as humiliation, and just 9 days after the verdict, she called upon the president to call fresh elections. Riding on the Garibi Hatao motto and socialist agenda, she came back to power in Lok Sabha, and this time on July 31st, 1971, under 26th Amendment, she omitted Article 291 and 362 from the Constitution and inserted a new Article 363A, in which all privy purses were seized and abolished. The shocking justification given to abolish privy purses was that it was incompatible with the egalitarian social order, and there was not a single mention of the enormous efforts required to persuade the princes to be a part of the integrated India, thus putting the case to the end. Giving my opinion, I think that privy purses shouldn't have been abolished, because according to me, and also quoting Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, that would have been a clear breach of faith to what was agreed. At the time of the independence, the princely states were not at all liable to join India, and if they have joined India, they did so on basis of certain promises which were made to them, and those promises, I believe, must be respected by the coming future governments of the country too. Thank you.